Okay, we're recording. Okay, so hi guys, welcome to our team call. I'm so glad that you guys all jumped on. I'm super excited to talk about what we're talking about tonight because of course, I get on this call and then my dogs start barking. They weren't barking at all until I start talking. But hopefully you can't hear them too much. But I'm super excited about this because this is something that I feel like I really struggle with, or I'm not really the best at. And so it's something I've been working on and training in for myself. And I found, so much of the idea, we're going to be talking about attraction marketing and closing, getting people off the fence tonight, and some tips to do that, and kind of what attraction marketing is, what the point of it is, and how to be successful in attraction marketing. So there's so much of this that, this could be like 5 calls. So I'm not going to kind of touch on some things tonight. And then we might, we can go into this deeper in the next few team calls if we need to, and kind of go from there. But attraction marketing, that might be something, if you're new to the network marketing industry, it might be something that you haven't really heard of. So I'll kind of explain that. The goal of attraction marketing is to get people to message you or to reach out to you. Obviously that's ideal, right? Like, we would love it if all we had, if we just posted and then people were asking us how to sign up and how to order. That would take out so much of the stress and awkward conversations and, things like that. Well, attraction marketing is one of those things that can be really simple, especially if you're someone that's really geared towards, you're really social normally, like social, especially on social media, that you are posting a lot, that's natural for you, or you're someone, maybe some of you guys are. I'm not like that, so it's something I have to actively work on. But I know people that aren't in network marketing, don't make any money from what they share, what they post, but they naturally, I'm sure you guys can think of people in your life or on your, Facebook and Instagram feeds or whatever, that are like that. They just naturally share their life on social media. Now, attraction marketing doesn't just have to be done through social media. Before social media was around, we still had network marketers, right? That people were able to use attraction marketing in that setting too, when social media wasn't really around. But I'm going to mainly be covering attraction marketing as it has to do with social media now, because that's kind of where we are. If you're someone that doesn't love social media, or maybe you feel like you're not good at it, or you feel like it's just not, you don't have a big big following, or you don't, whatever, I understand. For some reason, I am the most outgoing and social person in real life. And there's something about social media that I struggle with. That's why I have unread text messages and unread messages. It feels like a struggle for me. So for a long time, it's been something that I've almost been trying to avoid or get around, right? Like, I'm not great at it. It's not something that comes strongly and naturally for me. So I've been, try to find ways around it and ways to be successful without having to really put much effort into that. But what I've come to realize is that using attraction marketing and building our social media presences takes out, and building our social media our social media presence opens up a whole new area for us, because again, how awesome would it be if people were messaging us, right? So the goal of network marketing of attraction marketing is to get people to message you. One thing that I feel like we forget about is that we are in network marketing. Now, some of you didn't join Q really as to become a network marketer, right? Maybe you joined because you love the products and you saw the potential and what you can, the income potential you can make with Q. And so you jumped in, but you'd never really done network marketing before. And it's not like you joined to become a network marketer. But thankfully you're here, and network marketing is, I really truly believe it's the greatest industry in the world, because we can earn an income and a living just by being ourselves and sharing things that we love, right? So attraction marketing has to play a part in network marketing, and I'm going to kind of explain that in a second. A lot of times we kind of switch our thinking and think that network, like the marketing part of network marketing, is the most important. But in reality, it's not. Networking and being social and creating, I don't want to say that a following necessarily, because that makes me, I'm not talking about just a social media following, but being a social person, growing and building our network. That is what really helps us to become successful in network marketing, not so much marketing. If it was just marketing, we would be hired by Q as marketers. We would be hired as Q or by Q to just sell product and market the product, but that's not what network marketing is. So I've been looking up ways I can work on attraction marketing, ways that we can do this better to be more successful and to finally get people to be messaging us. Now, I'm sure that all of you guys have experienced this, where you've made a post and you get people to message, or people have messaged you from that post, right? That always feels really, really good, because they're interested. When we reach out to people and ask if they want to take a look at what we have and those things, we don't know where they are. We don't know if they're interested. If they're messaging us about our business or our products, they're telling us that they're interested. So it makes it a lot easier. So some things that I've learned that I'm really working on right now, I think is going to be helpful for you to help more people be reaching out to us, is first of all, we need to figure out we need to figure out and identify who we want to attract. So we all have different hobbies and interests and things that just come natural to us that we like, right? Whatever that is, everyone has some of them might be the same. We might have the same interests. Maybe you like working out a lot. Maybe you're really into makeup. Maybe you are really into your dogs. That sounds weird. Maybe, maybe you are, whatever it is that you're interested in. Maybe you're really into traveling. That's something you do. There are other people that like that too, right? That's what we always say. You'll attract what you are. And that's good. We want that. We want to build teams of like-minded people, because that's the best people to work with. That's fun. You're working with people that are like you, right? So you're gonna be able to connect with them easier and things like that. So one of the things that I keep hearing, and I'm looking into ways to make sure that ways to use attraction marketing better, is to identify who you want to attract and make that clear. So choose a few things about your interests, write them down, 3 to 5 things that interest you, that are part of who you are, that are some of your hobbies. Maybe you like rock climbing, whatever it is. And then actively make a plan to be sharing things about that. So for example, so I've done this intentionally before with like photography, right? Something that interests me. I could be posting on my story and on my post, and I'll kind of share that in a second, what's best to do with that. But I could be sharing things like different lenses or different things that photography people that are interested in photography, they'd see that and say, oh, I want to read that. I want to watch that. When you scroll through your feed, the things that people are posting that interest you, that are already something that you're interested in, that's usually what you stop and read through, right? Or when you're watching a story, maybe that's who you search for, you search for those kind of people. I know for me, usually like every week on Instagram now, I'm going and searching whatever week pregnant, 18 weeks pregnant, because I want to see other people that are 18 weeks pregnant and what they're doing and what their life looks like, right? So people are going to be, I'm attracted to that right now because that's what's going on in my life. So you have to be sharing those things. So one of the big things that I really struggle with is being consistent on social media. I have all these things, you know, I have my interests, I have my life and things like that, but it feels like um it's another thing. It's just like it's not, it doesn't come natural to me. It's a hard thing for me to do, to be consistent and active on social media a lot. So it's something that I'm working on. And that's the best thing about this business. You could be awful at something. You could be awful at social media. You could be awful at, or you can feel like you're awful at something, and you can learn how to be better. You can grow and change those habits. We're like, our brains are like a computer. We can change how we are programmed and what we want to do. And so if this is a way that we can be better and grow our businesses more and bring in a bigger income, even if you feel like, oh, I'm just so bad at that, I don't think I can do all that, you can. And we can learn to do that if that's what you want to do. So tip number 1, figure out and identify who you want to attract. Figure out what you want, what you're looking for. And that's really going to be what the people you want to attract is looking for. So share it. Number 2 is consistent and positive presence on social media. The consistent part is super important, because even if you have the best posts and your posts are just, you know, you really great and you get a lot of feedback from them, or you feel like it's just a really great post or a really great story, if that only happens once a week, for one, not a lot of people are going to see it. And it takes people seeing something over and over and over, usually before they're going to reach out to you. Now, the consistent and positive presence on social media, that's not all about Q. You do not want to make everything about Q or about your products or about your business or anything like that. Sometimes I will look back through my like Facebook feed and I'm like, or my Facebook timeline, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all of my posts in the last week have been about Q. And that's because I'm not, when that happens, I realize it's because I'm only posting when it's like part of my IPAs and not just sharing my life. So the idea of social media is to be sharing your life, what's going on, and Q is a part of that. It is not the whole thing, right? Even Francesca, who's, you know, at the top of the company, has a huge team making all this money. Q is not her entire life. It's a part of her life. So one of the things that I always go back and forth on is, should I be posting in my stories or should I be posting posts, right? So both. The answer is both. We should be doing both. Sort your Facebook and your Instagram stories. Some great tips to help with like what to be posting on that. And the idea of the stories is basically to share your day. So if I imagine like a perfect, well, I don't know about perfect, but a great attraction marketing focused Instagram story feed, right? Or Facebook story feed throughout a day. It'd be, okay, you're waking up, and what's something I do first thing in the morning is I take my QMax, right? So a story would be having the QMax in my hands saying, I'm so thankful for this nutrition or whatever on the story, right? So, so having that would be a part of my day. It's something that I'm doing, but I'm sharing it. So then people are going to go look at it. They're going to see, oh, she took that this morning. I wonder what that is. Right. And then maybe a little bit longer in the day, posting something random. For me, like I'm always interested in like makeup and hair stuff. So for me, then when I'm getting ready, maybe post this morning, I posted, for example, on my story about my makeup products I use and ask people what they use every day. Right. So I'm asking a question. I'm asking for feedback, but it's something that's not related to Q. And that's I feel like that's kind of the key, is that we're trying to be, the goal is to be more social in all aspects, because that encourages people to be more social with us when it comes to our business. If somebody feels comfortable answering questions that I'm asking, in the questions or the polls on Instagram about makeup, they're going to be more likely to answer a question I ask about what vitamins they take. Right? So it doesn't happen immediately. You might start posting things in your stories and posting questions and posting polls and things. It might not get any response. That's okay. Keep doing it, because you will start getting more response. When you put out to your friends and your social media people, and when you put out there that you are being social, that will be received and people will start being more social with you. So the other thing when you're posting, especially things about Q, we need to make sure we're staying positive, like always staying positive, because I don't know about you, but I don't want to follow a negative person. I don't want to, I definitely don't want to join somebody that is constantly complaining or being negative on social, right? Um, right now, well, anytime, but especially right now, the world is, there's already enough to be depressed about. There's already enough to be worried about. There's already enough to be sad about. So we need to be making sure that we are a light. We are positive. And that does not mean just posting the highlight reel, but it means making sure that you're intentional. If you are going to post something, and I'll just use myself as an example. I had a really, really hard day yesterday. And I thought about making a post kind of in the middle of that, but I stopped myself because I knew it would just be complaining and negative. I knew that there was no positive at that point that I was feeling. So once I had worked through that mindset shift and come out of it and turned it into a positive, then I made a post being real, sharing my struggle, but also sharing how I turned it into a positive. The reason that is so important is because, for one, we don't just want to post a highlight reel. We don't just want to make everything look perfect all the time, because that's not real. That's not life. And so people don't want to join a fake person. But if you, even by the way you're posting, if it's making people feel uplifted and the things you're sharing makes people feel hopeful and help and happy, then they want to be around you. They want to hear you. They want to be inspired by you. So make sure that, especially when you are posting things about Q, to keep it positive, and also to keep it simple. There is enough complicated things in the world and everyone's lives. Everyone has full lives with families and kids and everything. So posting needs to be simple. I know that Q for me is simple, especially products. My products I take every day are simple. And it's so easy to share that. In your stories, you can share, you don't need to share every single time you take a product, but every day, if you're posting, if you're creating a story every day, I think Jordan said in the chat, 5 to 10 stories a day is ideal. Yeah. If you're posting, you're making your story, just showing your day. A story is a story of your day. But keep it simple when it comes to Q, because that's what people are going to be attracted to. Right. And then it's basically, you're showing your life, and Q is included in your life. So this might not come naturally to you. I know it does not come naturally to me at all. Like, not even a little bit. It's not easy for me to do this. But share what interests you, to share what's going on. It doesn't need to be perfect. I think, or perfection is, what is it? Perfection is the thief of or killer of progress, or there's a quote that I can't think of, but when you're always striving, you want to make your stories perfect, or you want to make sure it looks perfect, or that you're saying the perfect things, you're never going to get anywhere. So just share what your life's like, share what's going on, share what you're doing that day. Even if you're having a day at home, you're going to be doing different things. Share what you're cooking for dinner, or ask people what they're cooking for dinner. Just be social. And then with posts, posting 3 times a day, it's what's on our IPA sheet. Posting 3 times a day is great. Make sure to have your that they're not all about Q. Again, it's the same thing. Q is a part of your life. It's not your entire life. But making sure that what you're posting is positive, not that it's fake, but it has a positive spin on it, or and that shouldn't be fake. That should be how we are anyways, because we're in the business of networking and attracting people and growing our businesses. If you feel like maybe you have a hard time turning that, going from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, I know it's something I've been working on for a couple of years, because it's something that I really struggle with. When I get in a bad mood, it's really hard for me to shift that into a good mood sometimes. And it's something that I've been working really hard on, that something Tom does really great. So he reminds me all the time that it's a choice with how we are wanting to be. So if that's something that you feel like you struggle with, remember, it's something you can work on. And then the other thing with your post is providing value. So how can you want to give people something for free? I'm not talking about a product or something like that, but value, give them, you can post even positivity or motivation or something funny, maybe advice on something you're really good at. If you're really good at, I can't even think, the only thing I can think of is sewing, because I can see him as sewing stuff. If you're really good at sewing, start posting things about that, tips about how you can sew better. If you're really good at cooking or something, post about that. I know when I post about what I find at Goodwill, I never get as much interaction as when I post about what I find at Goodwill. I'm telling you guys, my DMs are like blowing up when I post asking, about things like that, because people are interested in that. They're finding value in that, right? So find what you would find value in, figure out what you would find value in. Yeah, Jillian, for real. And then share that stuff. You don't become somebody you're not, but learn how to share who you are. Does that make sense? So, and then the third tip is, it just comes down to being social. And if it does not come naturally to you, I feel that, I get that. It does not come naturally to me. I'll show you guys this is so embarrassing. I just deleted these 181 unread text messages. And from today, these are people I want to talk to. And it's just, for some reason, it's just so hard for me to stop what I'm doing and respond in text messages or on social. It's just something that I'm constantly working on. So if it does not come naturally to you, that's okay. That does not mean, well, I just can't be a network marketer then. That is a lie. And that's a lie that's trying to keep you stuck. You can be the worst social media person that has ever been, and you can learn how to become the best, right? I always say things like, this is just an example, but I always say, like, I'm not a runner. Like, I've never been a runner. The idea of running for fun is like, it just confuses me. Like, it's not, I feel like I am not a runner, but that's a limiting belief, right? Because if I needed to or wanted to become a runner, I could, and I could learn to love it. So when you tell yourself, I'm just not good at social media, I just can't do that, I don't have time for that, those are limiting beliefs. And we have to identify them as that and say, well, if this is a tool that's going to get me to where I want to be, then I'm going to change it. I know we're going a little long. I have a launch here, 5 minutes. But they know I'm on this call. So we'll try to get done with this last part. This is another part of this that kind of ties into that attraction marketing, network marketing. That's really important is closing. One of the things that I know is really difficult is once you have somebody, you're talking to someone, whether they reached out to you or whether you reached out to them, and you're talking about the products, about the business. For us, the system we use, you're probably trying to get them into a three-way chat or a three-way conversation with your upline or somebody on your team, right? So that's a form of closing. Ultimately, your upline and you eventually will be closing those conversations, but getting them into that three-way conversation into the next step, that's a form of closing too. And so a few things happen. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people just stop responding to me maybe, or just like ghosting me, or just you get dead silence. And Tori's not on this call. She's one of our new ambassadors, but I love how she said that. She was like, you just leave me out here oh no, I'm not gonna remember it, but it was so funny. You like people that don't respond. It's just like, I'm just out here in the wind, like, tell me no, and that's fine. But we hate when they just ignore us, right? But that is gonna happen, and they're not ignoring you, or they're not like just trying to ghost you most of the time. There's a few different reasons why they've left you on read, or they've left you, they've not opened it, or they've not read it, or they've seen it and then just not responded. There's a few different reasons. It might be that they just are busy. It might be that they are like me, and just, if I don't have time to sit down and respond all the way, I'm like, dang it, I shouldn't have opened that right now. I can't respond. I'm going to get back to it later. And then what happens? We forget. Life gets busy. So we have to give them that same grace. That really could be what is happening. Or they don't know what to tell you. If they wanted to tell you no, they probably would. But they're not sure about something. And so they don't know, but they don't want to make you feel like they're going to buy, or they don't want to, so they're tabling it. Like, that's what that is. They put it on the back burner, or they just forgot and haven't gone back to you. So a few different things you can do. couple tips really quick when you're in those conversations to avoid that, the ghosting thing, or them just flat out, saying no, is for one to lead. We need to lead the conversation, and that's something we don't talk about a lot. We are the professionals. I know you might not feel like it. You might have joined 2 days ago and you're like, I am not a professional of this, but we are more of a professional than they are. When I started at State Farm, it was my first insurance job. I'd worked in the car industry, so I knew a little bit about insurance, just from working in the car dealership and having people talk to me about their insurance, things like that. But I did not know very much. I felt like a fish out of water starting. I took the test, I passed my test, did all the setting, all those things. But when it came time that I was having customers in my office, I felt so unqualified to help them. Like, it was just something that made me so nervous. And what my boss told me, and I'll never forget this, you might not feel like an expert, but you're more of an expert than they are. Even if you've been here for one day, even if you've been a Q ambassador for one day, you've already taken more steps than they have. You're already more of an expert than they are. So we have to be confident in that fact and remember that no matter what, we can always say, you know what, I'm not sure about that. Let me connect you with my friend that she's been doing this a little bit longer, or let me get right back to you on that, or whatever. But sometimes our lack of confidence makes us give the conversation over to them to lead. And we have to remember that we are leading the conversation. We want to keep it direct, not just, are you going to buy, yes or no? Or are you going to join me, yes or no? But keep it on track. So for example, if you're talking to someone and they say, I need to look at this later. I gotta go to my son's birthday party or whatever, right? And they might say, I gotta go deal with the caterers for this birthday party. It's a big mess and blah, blah, blah. You're going to sympathize with them or something. Say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I deal with that and get back to me. Do you want me to check back in with you tonight? Right? Like, keep it direct. You don't want to, the other option there is like, oh my gosh, yeah, caterers are the worst. This one time I had this thing happen, and then you're going to share their story. And you're doing that because you're trying to relate to them, like to connect with them. But that just like took the conversation off on a completely different track. And now you're going to have to work to get it back to the point of the conversation, right? So remember to lead the conversation and give them reminders of when you're going to follow up with them. Ask their permission when you can follow up, and things like that. And we have to remember that there are only 3 reasons that people will ghost us or leave us on red, or that they'll say no. There's only 3 reasons. And these reasons, like, it's kind of harsh. And every time I hear this, I've heard this so many times in network marketing, and I'm like, oh no. The 3 reasons are they either don't trust you, they don't trust you. That's just it. Or they don't trust the products, or they don't trust the company. That's it. It always will fall back onto those reasons, because what are we offering? We are offering health and financial freedom, more money, right? Everybody wants that. Everybody that has ever been wants better health or better finances, or both. Nobody is sick and just happy with it. Nobody is financially sick and just happy with it. But, I guess so sometimes I get so frustrated because I'm like, but we have both those things. Why isn't everyone joining me? I'm so excited about this. I see what's in front of me. Why isn't everyone joining me? Because they don't trust me, they don't trust the products, or they don't trust the company. So these are things, thank the Lord, we can fix. These are things that we can correct. If you feel like, and you have to kind of investigate and figure out what it is, and you'll be able to tell, right? Ask yourself, if someone's ghosting you a lot, or like they're not getting off the fence, or having a hard time deciding, sometimes you can be direct and say, hey, I feel like this is something you're interested in. You're showing some interest, but I know something's holding you back. What is it? Is it me? Is it something that I'm saying that you're not trusting? Could it possibly be the company? Do you not trust maybe the company? Or is it the products? What are you not trusting? What can I help you with? Right? So you can ask that. and just be direct like that. Or if you don't feel like it's appropriate, investigate kind of and figure out through the conversation what it could be. If you've identified that you realize that they don't trust you, there's a reason. Do they not trust you? Because, yeah, Susan, ask open-ended questions. Exactly. If they don't trust you, maybe it's because you've been inconsistent. I know that I've put a damper on a lot of potentials and had to work really hard to gain them back because of my lack of consistency. That, thank the Lord, I've been working on so hard, and I'm getting a lot better at it. So pat on the back that I'm getting better at that. But it's something that I'm working on because I realized that I was losing people's trust because I wasn't responding to them in a timely manner, right? So, or maybe they don't trust you because maybe you're posting alternate things. And what I mean by or opposite things, what I mean by that is you kind of have to check yourself. Are you talking, maybe you're posting a lot of negative, complaining things, but then you're talking about how happy Fuse makes you, right? Or like how happy you are now with your company. Or maybe you're like posting sometimes and you're complaining about finances, but then you're posting about how much money you're making. Like, they're gonna be like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So identify why they don't trust you and then work on it. Work on that relationship, right? It doesn't have to be, well, they just won't trust me then. Okay, that sucks. No, figure it out and take responsibility and work on it. And every single time that you do that, that person might not ever buy from you, right? They might feel like that they just don't trust you, they can't do it. But you're going to fix something about yourself or work on something about yourself that the next person is then going to trust you. So then maybe it's the second reason. Maybe they don't trust the products. So ask yourself, have you been educating about the products? Have you been posting about how the products are making you feel and sharing your testimony and helping, and sharing that? Or are they only ever hearing or seeing about the products when you message them and you're asking them to buy them from you? Right? Are you showing by your life and by your stories and by what you're telling people when you're out and about how much you love the products and how well they've been working for you? Or is it only when you're wanting something from them? Right? Sometimes that's hard. Like I've looked at that and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm only talking about the products when I'm messaging and talking to someone directly, right? So maybe if they don't trust the products, it's because you've not educated them well enough on the products. So we have to take responsibility and fix it. And that's so easily done. And then number 3, if they don't trust the company, it goes with kind of the same thing. Have you been sharing about anything about the company? Our company does amazing things. Our Q Cares program is great. What we're doing with Q Fit is so amazing. The leaders of our company and how just incredible their lives have been and what they've done. We have so much to be confident in with our company, but we know that because we're watching Q News and because we're hearing about it all the time. Our potentials don't know that unless we are sharing it with them. So hopefully this will help you, give you some ideas of what to be posting and sharing your stories. We want to make sure we're eliminating those trust issues before they ever come up. So ask yourself, how can I make people trust me more? What can I do? How can I make people trust the company more? And how can I make people trust the products more? And in answering that for yourself, that's going to give you a lot of ideas for how to post, what to post in your stories, and things you need to work on specifically. The other thing, if people are on the fence and you you feel like you've identified those things, but they're still kind of on the fence, some easy ways to just help them make a decision one way or another. Give new info. So like if a new product is released or a new Q-Fit challenge, or, if you've heard a new testimony, say, someone that's really struggling with pain issues and you see a testimony in the testimony page that somebody has gotten a lot of relief with their pain, you could follow up with that person that had the pain issues is kind of on the fence and say, oh my gosh, I just saw this and I needed to send it to you. I don't know if this is the same kind of thing you're dealing with, but it reminded me of you. Hopefully you get some value from this. And hopefully that helps you, hopefully that helps you, hopefully this helps you make a decision, right? Hopefully this helps you just see if this is going to be the product for you, right? So just you're providing value, you're giving them new information. The other method is to take it away. We don't like to do this because we're like, no, I don't want to take it away from them. I want them to, I want them to buy this and I want them to sign up. But we also don't want people on the fence. When people are on the fence for too long, they'll just never do it, right? It's kind of like the idea of putting stuff in your Amazon cart and you just have it in there forever. Eventually you're just going to move it to save for later, right? Like decisions happen quickly typically. So if you have people just on the fence forever, the chances of them actually signing up and ordering after so long, I mean, I've had people that sign up after months and months and months of talking to them. So there are going to be those people, but when they're on the fence from we want them to make a decision one way or the other, right? Otherwise they clog our funnel and it's not good for them. It's not good for us. But so taking it away, saying, you know, hey, it doesn't seem like now's the right time for you. It doesn't feel like you're responding. It seems like you're busy. Things are going on. If this isn't the best time, can I take you off my follow-up list for now, but reach out to you in about 6 months and see how you're doing? Right? Can I follow up with you then? Maybe they're just nervous to tell you that they're just too busy to even think about this right now. That's going to help build trust because you're identifying an issue and helping them meet it, right? You're taking that stress off of them. So take it away. Or say, you know, hey, it seems like we're having a connecting issue or something's, you know, this doesn't feel like the right time, or maybe this isn't the right thing for you right now. That's no problem. I'm going to go ahead and take you off my follow-up. I'm going to take you off my follow-up list. When would you like me to reach back out to you? Right? Ask them. A lot of times they're going to be like, oh, no. I really want to do this. Sorry, I've just been busy. Yeah, let's talk. But make sure, like in taking it away, you're telling them it's okay for them to tell you no. It's okay for them to tell you not right now. Right? And the other thing is to be social with them. If you have somebody that's like on the fence, you kind of talking to them, but you're having a really hard time getting them to make a commitment or to give you an answer, make sure that you are spending time on their social medias, commenting on their posts, even messaging them, non-Q things, like message them or call them if you know them well enough, just to check in. Be social with them, be their friend. Because if it is an issue where they're not trusting you in some sense, that's going to help build the trust with them too. So we went over, I know Kai, I'm glad you jumped on because we have our launch 20 minutes ago. We're a little late. So hopefully guys, that was, I'll stop the recording.